Hello and welcome to another Near Running Cast. As always, my name is Johno, and I'm joined once again by James. How you doing, James?
Great, glad to be here. Good to see Joey in another game.
Yep, so this week on Neo Joey Casts, we have Joey playing his RP on the left, and on the right hand side we've got the arrival of Barry playing his noise. So we mentioned a little bit before that there are a lot of Anarch players in this cut. In fact, all of them. 8. There were 8 Anarch players in this top 8 cut.
Yep.
And we think there were 6 noise.
I think it was 6 noise, a max, and a wizard.
And a wizard, yeah. We mentioned before,
all of the noise players were playing fast.
yeah, there was a lot of very similar noise builds around, but Barry's was a little different.
I think it was quite a lot different actually, and I guess we'll find out just how different it is during this game.
Do you think that RP? What do you think about an RP noise matchup? In particular, Joey's RP, as we see first turn Hades Shard install, which I quite like.
I actually think this is quite a tough matchup for Joey's RP. Traditionally, noise has been pretty good against RP because of the disruptive effect of the mills.
He's got to mill the grail pieces.
Noise traditionally doesn't run a lot. When he does run, it's normally with Faust, which, it's taxing as hell to break all the subroutines on a piece of Grail Ice, but you're not going to run into any nasty face checks.
So once again, we get an Ice on Archives, presumably Crick. It's like the previous game again. While Barry injects.
Heck of an inject there.
Yeah, he got some good cards.
He's got. What do you have? Wildside Pancakes
so he got Deja Vu and a
Deja Vu.
Yeah. So he's got the Wild Cakes combo already down and an Aesop's. Why not? This is a good resource set for noise.
So I think in particular Barry's deck was based around like a lot of milling, like power milling,
turbo milling. Yeah. He had things like Gravedigger in, which exists only for the sake of milling.
And I think that makes this a really hard game for Joey.
Yeah, because there was a lot more kind of Faust.
Compared to decks which need to run to win, Noise doesn't need to run to win. So
that's true. And he's got Hades Shard, so in fact he could never run again and it'd be fine. And
indeed, Johnny, that may well have been Barry's plan. I don't know if he played Joey in the Swiss, but if he did, it could potentially be a very viable plan.
The things like Blacklist kind of interrupt the turbo mill. It means clone chips can't cache anymore, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, but I suppose it stops you from recurring cache and recurring the viruses to Aesops. So maybe I think that's a good point, Johnny.
And so we may well see a Blacklist at some point, but in the meantime, that Sunju's going to go unchallenged as well, which means that Jackson will be useful. Which means that Joey's going to kind of get very rich very quickly, so he can build expensive.
Joey's RP deck is more combo based because of the Grail and the Blacklist and the Batty than most RP decks, so it makes the noise mills extra disruptive.
That's true, yeah. We've got an upgrade in R&D as well, so that could well be a Batty. At the very least, Barry's going to be maybe reluctant to run R&D now, if indeed he was going to anyway. And with the Jackson on the table, presumably we're going to wait. Now, there is a Jackson and there's also a Hades Shard. Now, obviously, if Barry decides to use the Hades Shard, there's no window for a response for the Jackson. So, what do you do? Do you Jackson back the first agenda you mill? Presumably not.
No, I think it's just a game of chicken at this point.
You'd wait until you got 3 and then immediately Jackson.
Joey probably doesn't care that much if he accesses, say, a fetal AI, for example.
Yeah. You can also use Jackson when he has 4 agendas in archives, all about that.
Well, yeah. So
we let him trash it.
Hades Shard, not particularly great against the Future Perfect, for example. You get a side game.
Sure, you only get one. You get one go at it.
That's the only chance you've got.
Yeah.
So Joey probably not. If he loses a Nisei to it, he might use it. But
quite annoyed, yeah.
Well, it's gone in the bin now. So
he
I guess Barry's
trashed
it, and Joey.
Barry ran it, and Joey let him trash it. He obviously didn't have anything he wanted to return at the time. It's installed next to the Sunju, so I guess we can assume that's a caprice and the start of a scoring server. Another restructure, classic RP include.
Well, I think some RP players were including 1, maybe 2, but it's interesting to see.
It's good economy.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, particularly in RP, right, where you're just often very rich.
Okay, so he's just taking money. Meanwhile, Wild Cakes will feed noise. He's going to sell the Imp. Now, the Imp had 3 counters. You might have thought he'd try to use it.
I think this is part of Barry's strategy, though. He just all about
installs
milling.
and mills, yeah. Any virus that costs less than 3 to install, like, just get it in. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not even... I assume he's still running medium, but whether... I think he might have even cut stuff like medium in favour of things like Exodidae. And like the viruses that people probably don't even remember what they are, because they're just a one-cost virus.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It's worth mentioning as well that Barry did hit this Galahad on HQ, but with no, or at least no Grell Ice was revealed. So it may be that...
Also, then you sell the Imp because you know you can't Imp any of the other Grail bits in hand, I guess.
That's true, but it does suggest that there are none in hand, which means that he can maybe face check a little bit and not worry too much about
I think he's just put down the Faust as well. So.
He did just put down Faust, so he can run with a little bit of...
run with Glee and Abandon.
Yeah, although there are upgrades on HQ and R&D. So
and the remote.
And the remotes. There's
I assume that those are just milled cards, right, behind Archives.
Yeah, that's not like four upgrades. Yeah, that's a separate noise archives. So yeah, upgrades everywhere. So that should make you very reluctant to run.
Also, Joey has 25 credits, so
he does.
He's not going to have problems.
Would you consider running archives? Okay, so we're going to get a Batty Lancelot. This is why you don't run an upgraded server. So Batty's going to fire before, which means that should Barry lose a side game, he'll be able to fire the Lancelot sub to trash Faust, and then he'll walk straight into the Lancelot.
I guess whatever that thing next to it is an Imp, yeah.
Yeah, but more relevantly, you know, he might have Merlins in hand, that kind of thing, Galahad as well. So we'll see. So he does lose the side game. So Faust goes straight away, and then he's going to hit the Lancelot. So he reveals another Lancelot, which is kind of pointless, and an Excalibur. So in fact, he takes back the Lancelot. He reveals Excalibur, which means that Imp is lost. He does get an access of a Future Perfect.
Well, he can't Imp it now.
And he can't run it again either. So yeah that's going to stay there.
Poor Barry.
So he loses that side game, and that's it. If you're losing side games, RP is just the worst to play against.
So Joey turning on the side game love here.
Yeah.
After his rough game against Laurie.
Having said that, assuming you can get Faust back, and he might have considered deja vuing for Faust here, although he didn't. If you can get Faust back, then you can run R&D fairly confidently because there's no upgrade on it now. So. Yeah, and you can kind of lock a little bit, maybe.
I think Barry's looking for his mill pattern here.
Yeah, and I think as you say, his objective is not really to run, apart from just to make him res some ice and spend some money. So I
don't think Barry has a chance of making Joey pull this game now.
No,
he's ignoring the Sundews, which Joey now has.
So it's too late
going.
now. Yeah, it's too late now. So yes, I agree. I think that you've lost the economic battle for this game. That of course doesn't mean you've lost the game, but it means that you need to other ways.
Noise more than almost anyone else can just play his own game, right? To an extent, it's very non-interactive.
In many ways, it's about a really well-timed Hades fire, I think, at this point. He's got to kind of try and work out when... Now, for instance, right now, there's no jacks on the table. Before he ran R&D, I was saying maybe he should run archives. There's no jacks on the table. He might see what's in the bin, see what's hit.
So I haven't played with Hades Shard and stuff in a while. It's just trash to use, right?
Trash to use, yeah.
So you can deja vu it back and then play it again.
Yeah.
From hand.
Yeah, you could.
So
if you wanted. It's
if you want to, sure.
7 to play, but yes, you could.
But it means, you know, like he can have it as a surprise from hand. If he uses it once, then uses it again.
And even if there's jacks on the table, yeah. Yep, you're right.
So Parasite coming out.
So Parasite is obviously good against Grail because all the Grail ice, possible exception of Merlin, all the Lancelot and Galahad are both quite low strength, so they don't last many turns.
The thing is, if he can get rid of this, Joey furiously shuffling his hand.
Yeah.
But if you get rid of this Grail ice on R&D, it allows you to be able to do targeted milling again. Because now he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to check.
It's nice to look at R&D and see something I don't want to deal with, and I can't trash. So just
traditionally things like wrap around or
And I've used my imp, so I can just install something like that.
TFPs, I guess.
I mean, other Grail pieces. You might see Galahad come past and decide to kill it. Okay, so Joe's going to trash his own Lancelot, which makes sense.
Yep.
And he's going to install Trashing Sundews, so that's
an agenda for sure.
And he's going to advance it.
Oh, so, we know what that is.
Now, it could be an NAPD, but I bet it's an Nisei because Barry's got absolutely no way of getting in.
I think having looked at Joey's agenda suite last game, he's probably not playing any NAPDs. Because you said he was playing a Fetal, and he was playing the 3-pointer, the Hades.
He's got Hades Shard, you're right, that's probably it then.
Hades Fragment, Hades Shard, I don't know. The shards are the runner side.
Yeah,
the fragments are the corpse side. So it must be a Hades fragment.
Yeah. So you're right. He'll get an access. He will hopefully. I mean, not hopefully. I'm neutral. Probably score a Nisei. Next turn. So let's see. So Barry's going to continue to set up. That can't be a Faust he just installed. I think it might.
On the bottom? I'm not sure.
Okay, so he didn't press the remote though. He didn't check it, or at least he didn't.
I think Joey's
challenge it.
going to try and push these through as fast as possible.
And now that he's got it, if that's a caprice, which it probably is, then that means he can continue to fire.
Batty, right? He can just fire and end the run.
Yeah, it's only one use, but that means with the Nisei counter as well, he's going to.
Yeah, it might be only one use, but if you can end up with 2 Nisei counters, it's just the worst.
Yeah, you're right. So here comes Gravedigger.
Excited to see this card. Yeah. I saw Barry using it, and he was doing some pretty interesting stuff.
Well, I mean, so with the Grimoire, for instance, when you install it, it mills because you noise, and it comes with a counter, which means you can immediately mill again. It's
cool.
like a double mill for 2 clicks.
Not bad.
For 1.5 clicks, yeah.
Show you swordsman, trashing the Faust.
That's some great Faust take. I bet his own noise deck would have fared really badly against his own RP deck.
Oh, for sure. Like,
he built an RP deck that would destroy himself.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to leave that there because
Barry's probably quite happy.
He's quite like some money.
To be honest, I think Joey probably just doesn't even play that card.
I think he'll bin it straight away. Yeah. But he's going to go after. Because Gravedigger gains a counter when you trash things.
Okay, yeah.
Then that means
if
you've got imp, that means you can imp something and then immediately mill again. So Gravedigger does do work. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that's why he's trashing it rather than trying to hold Joey's massive economy down.
Yeah.
It's just an extra mill, right?
I think it's more
Barry's aim in most of these games was to just mill the corp through.
You can turn an imp counter into a mill. That's pretty good.
Another mill, right?
Yeah.
Like
extra mills. So Joey's going to install this remote and advance twice. So twice or once? Twice.
TFP or the Hades fragment?
Yeah. Or feet.
Or fetal, yeah.
Fetal would be hilarious if he gets a Faust out somewhere as well, because Faust into a fetal is quite funny. So we're going to see Scheherazade.
So Cash. Barry's economy coming back.
Yeah. So I quite like Scheherazade, although it's not particularly great. I think it's good with Cash, Aesop's stuff.
It's good with Chameleon as well. You were playing that in the Jank tournament. It's good. I think it's a perfectly serviceable Anarch economy
just
card.
A bit of economy, yeah. Obviously makes you particularly prone to Lancelot and Batty Lancelot.
Yeah, I kind of don't think you put anything important on it.
Yeah,
in the same way that you don't like
put cash on it.
You don't stack loads of important programs on a Leprechaun or
that's true.
Like another card that we haven't seen in Asia, but Jin,
Yeah.
I was thinking about Jin the other day because obviously I went to this core set and 1-box tournament, but I still didn't play it.
Yeah, I've been using Jin. Yeah. Recently in a totally unrelated thing as well. Okay, so Barry's just kind of walked through the swordsman to check R&D. Oh, that's good.
I've had worse.
Maybe he had a couple in hand. Who knows?
Is that a second one down there? There's
he played one before. Yeah. So he's going to imp that. He stopped the Gravedigger. I would like to see the Gravedigger hang around a bit. Like I feel like if you're going to imp stuff while you've got an imp online, you could maybe keep the Gravedigger.
I mean, I guess having multiple Gravediggers is even better with an imp, right? Because you're going to get 2 mills for every imp token.
That's it. But it looks like once he's finished discarding that Joey's going to get another.
Joey's deck
couple
looking
of points
thin at this point, right?
It is, but
he's scoring out.
He's got a lot
furiously,
of points, so he's going to advance 3 times. So what is it? Is it perfect? So okay, so he's on 5.
Any agenda is a win now, pretty much for Joey.
Yeah, I don't believe he has any 3-2s.
He's not running any 1-pointers.
Yeah, but he's not going to have any 3-2s either. So he's going to have to advance. It's probably not a problem. It looks like this remote is, I don't know, pretty impenetrable, especially with no breakers.
I don't think Barry has any interest in running it either. I think he's just going to get as many mills as possible, and then he'll pop the Hades shot.
I think he'd fire Hades when it looks like Joe's about to win. Like, after he advances a card twice in there, that kind of thing.
Well, and anything that goes in the remote in his advance, Barry will get as many mills and then just access with the Hades fragment.
Yeah. So he's going to run Crick, which is not a good one to
not sure about that.
So, now,
He's got no breaker, right?
No. So here's what I would have done. When that crit gets rezzed, I think I pop the Hades before
you access, for sure.
Because there's a Jackson in there. This is exactly what Joe's
going to
do.
I think we saw Brendan do that on a previous video.
He cricks the Jackson and then uses the Jackson. If it was me, I definitely would have popped the Hades and been even though it makes the rest of the run kind of pointless and you've used a Hades, I think it's still a good...
So in a similar situation in one of the videos that I think you had Andy Parsons commentating for. Brendan ran into this exact situation, popped the Utopia fragment, the Utopia shard he had, popped the Hades shard, then hit the crick.
So that was, yeah, he did. I don't remember the exact scenario.
I can't remember which game it was, but I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think it was when he hit a toll booth and it was going to bankrupt him, and he knew there was a future purpose or something.
Maybe,
so he did some stuff.
Not quite the same situation.
Yeah, but he decided to. You know, there's nothing wrong with using it during a run. No, I mean, it creates all kinds of weird interactions. But yeah, I think I personally.
Barry's seeing nothing here.
Yeah, and there won't be anything there, right? Because there's Jackson.
Yeah, that's pretty game at this point.
Yeah, and if I was Barry, I would have written off the rest of the run and just popped the Hades straight away.
I think you have to, right?
Because presumably there are at least 2 points in there. I mean, there's a risk that there was, say, a future perfect in there. Could have been a fetal in there.
And on top of that, I don't really see why he ran at all, because now his milling strategy is less likely to work because Joey's archives is. Joey's R&D is now a lot thicker. He's just got another 3 cards back.
He's got 3 cards, yeah.
When it previously was looking very thin indeed.
That's true. He kind of gave him the Jackson.
And Joey wants an agenda now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was almost certainly a crick as well because it was installed on
he knew
the first turn.
If he doesn't remember it's a crick, then...
Okay, so Parasite and Data Sucker will destroy that. He does get Hades. That's nice.
So actually, the R&D is relatively dense in terms of agendas now, probably.
He's going to try again.
Because we've not seen many.
He's a TFP, okay.
Great.
So he's got money, I mean...
He's got an imp, so... Is he going to play the side game and then imp it?
So he just imps it instead. Okay, now it's a different game. Joey's Joey'd it up. Let's see how he responds to this. Okay, so
Barry, very fortunate to get away with that situation here.
Yeah, I mean, he got... So, having said that, he did force, if you like, a Jackson use. Yeah. So he knew that agendas were going back in. It's quite thin. Yeah. So the agenda's density of R&D was going to be quite high.
So I think we're seeing a noise deck without any mediums at all, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it's not designed to dig so much as...
It's designed to mill.
Yeah, just get one at a time.
That's why it's interesting to see, because people have written off Gravedigger, and I don't think it's as bad as people have been suggesting.
So
it's fine.
If Joey's got an agenda, do you install it and almost certainly score it next turn?
If he's got a 4-2, you install
ice R&D?
You install advance.
He installs double advance instead. So he's taking a risk that there's no medium in hand, because there easily could be, right? It's an Anarch. He's got this far, but he's definitely going to check. He's going to trash that for credit.
That's not great, because it's going to be another access.
So you can imp. He's actually got 2 imps as well. So you can imp that as well. So he's going to see another card.
Well, this is where you end the run, surely, final click.
No, it's not. Because he has a Rachel Beckman on the table, which he installed earlier.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. So
I completely missed that one.
We might miss that. He's had 5 click turns for a little while.
Wow.
Because that is an amazing card.
Sloppy of us. Yeah. Or sloppy of me, anyway.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention it when it came out. Yeah, so it's...
Rachel Beckman.
Having said that, there's still an argument
pancakes.
So maybe what he should have done on click 4 is install a virus for the mill. Because now that he knows it's not, he can't even mill to get an access, right? So now on click 5 he runs a remote just for the sake of it in case they're all blank.
Do you pop the Hades shard? You should pop it right before Joey scores out.
He will do, yeah. So I mean, and Joey goes to the motions of rezzing some stuff for no reason. He just needs the Himitsu or even a Nisei credit.
So here comes the Hades shard.
Shard, but we've got nothing in there, just some Grail Ice, and it was a fetal in the server. So Joey did win it after. It seemed like he was going to kind of cruise to it, and then suddenly Barry got 6 points out of nowhere. Yeah. But that remote, I mean, Barry had no real interest in running that remote, or running at all. And if, you know, I guess the point of RP is it forces 2 runs. So, yeah.
So neatly sidestepping the potential for dealing with RP by just trying to mill them out.
Yeah. So it was very... but I do like Barry's noise deck there. I think it's quite hilarious.
I got a new respect for Gravedigger on the day when I was watching him use it. He was getting a lot of work out of it. Yeah, it's cool.
Imp fires Gravedigger. Yeah, as you say, multiple Gravediggers would be pretty funny. You know, a couple of mem strips down. That's a good card.
It's fine. People are trash talking it.
I know.
It's absolutely fine as a card.
If you got a lot of viruses. Yeah. Okay. So Barry will go home to
London.
To London. Yeah. With nothing to show for his exploits except a cut qualification, but
that's
Joe,
pretty good. It was a very tough field.
It was actually 32 people. Yeah, it was good.
Well, and with some very strong players missing the cut, like Tim Fowler.
Tim Fowler. He took a kind of joke deck, but yeah. Also of relevance was now that Joey won that game, which means he's in the top 4. So our last 4 is Joey, Brendan, Laurie, and Stu. 3 locals and Laurie.
Yeah,
I guess
Laurie's local to everywhere, right?
Yeah, that's
like
right.
The amount of tournaments he turns up to.
Yeah, and so we mentioned earlier in the pre-cut videos, but it's also worth mentioning that because this was a BABW game. Now, because Brendan and Laurie had already qualified.
No, I don't think Brendan had qualified.
No,
he
Brendan
qualified in Chichester, I think.
So Laurie had already qualified for sure. So top 3, I think. Laurie's qualified on the first one. He qualified on the first couple. He definitely.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was
anyway, so
slope at that point.
At any rate, the top 2, who had not already qualified for the finals, would get an invite to the BABW finals in London. And obviously, the top prize for that invite-only tournament was a stipend to pay for a world trip.
Yeah, big prize, really.
Yeah, really good prize, yeah. But that's nothing, because the prize for the tournament, you'll remember, first place was a copy of Data and Destiny, which at the time was quite the prize, because it had only just been announced at Gen Con.
This was about a week after Gen Con.
Yeah, so, it was during Gen Con. Because
yes, sorry, that's right. They didn't get the prize till the next week.
They were at Gen Con, yeah, because they, so the owners of Eclectic Games that hosted the tournament were at Gen Con and managed to pick up a copy and would bring it back for whoever won. So it was a great prize. We only found out about on the day.
Yes.
It made the likes of Tim, who brought an HB deck.
Well, he didn't bring jank by any means. He brought a fast advanced HB deck, and he brought a pretty standard good stuff max deck.
But it made him regret not bringing any H.
Yeah.
Good price.
That must have smarted for Tim, like his own faction's big box.
Maybe.
Out of reach.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he should have played better. So
I made a terrible mistake against him in that tournament and lost the game. Yeah, miscount. It was awful.
Yeah. Okay, so
put paid to my day basically.
In the next video, we're going to see Joey return to Neo Joey Cast, Neo Joey Grid, to play Brendan, local tormentor Brendan.
Yes,
from Oxford.
Kind of our arch nemesis, really.
That's right.
Lovely bloke, but
he's really nice. Yeah,
kind of a Terminator as far as winning Reading tournaments goes.
Yeah, so Joey, having played a whole bunch of RP games in a row, is now going to swap. He's going to be playing Noise against Brendan's NEH, which obviously we know is murder butcher shop NEH. That'll be quite an interesting one. Noise butcher shop. Thoughts on that matchup?
Can go either way. I mean, I think in some ways the butcher shop has a significant advantage over the kind of ultra credit poor Noise decks that were being run at this point.
That's true. I mean, as you already mentioned, that Noise isn't very likely to run. So
I'm not even sure Joey was running I've Had Worse at this point.
I guess Noise also needs to be careful with Jackson around that they don't accidentally steal one agenda. Because if you're NEH, it's very easy. If they run archives, you can just feed them a breaking news or a too good to be true or something.
Exactly.
And, give them a real problem while Jackson takes away the good agendas. Yeah. Okay. So
apply liberal use of imp, I think, is the main Noise strategy.
That's true. Imp is going to be.
Yeah. And on the other hand, Noise can be very disruptive for those kind of kill combo decks when you mill the Scorches or you mill the mid seasons.
Yeah,
and it's ice light, right? It's the kill decks.
I mean, Parasite can kill, but I mean,
Faust
is now getting its wrap around that kind of thing.
Sure, but they're very ice light decks, which means that I think Joey, unlike Barry, for example, was still running medium. So it means that if he wanted to go for access as a plan, then he could easily transfer into that kind of play.
Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. Good. So I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, I should remind all our viewers that if they want to see any more of our videos, they can do so at the website neoreadinggrid.co.uk. They can find us on Twitter and Facebook. And should you be so very kind as to want to be able to help improve all our videos, then you can find us on our Patreon page, and all contributions are appreciated. Thank you, James, for helping me out with this video.
I'll just point out I'm sat next to the beautiful new microphone that Johno bought with the support of you guys.
That's true.
It's very nice indeed.
It's paid off, yeah. Yes, so thank you for helping out. And viewer, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.